Good morning, students. So in the last class, I discussed about from the chapter SQL select statement. I discussed about this query from the arithmetic operator. Okay, so we saw this query, and in this chapter, I also discussed about the select keyword, the where clause, the from clause. Okay, so when you use the select keyword, that means it is processing a query. Okay, so a query is sent to the database. So the select keyword, okay, will select will display a list of columns or the columns from a table. So the from clause is used to choose the table from the database, and the where clause will display the data based on some conditions. So the where clause will be based on a column, okay, a column and the value associated with the column. So it is the condition is a boolean expression. Okay, so the condition is a boolean expression where it evaluates the true or false. Okay, so for your syllabus, okay, you might have already checked the syllabus coverage. Okay, this chapter, third chapter, is included in your syllabus. However, the first two chapters are also equally important, okay, though it is excluded. So go through the previous two chapters so that you will understand this chapter. Okay, so today I will just explain what we have covered in the tutorial links. Okay, so here you have the comparison operator, or it is also called as the relational operator. Okay, so comparison, so this is a boolean expression. It evaluates the true or false. So these are the following symbols that you use: equal to, greater than, less than, greater than, equal to, less than, or equal to, and not equal to. So these are the symbols, mathematical symbols, that we will be using in the SQL, which makes making the sentence much more shorter. Okay, now here you have a query question. Write the query to display teacher name and salary for all teachers whose salary is greater than or equal to 20,000. So now you have to write a query. Now keep in mind that when you're using the select keyword, okay, that means when you're sending a query to database, this select keyword, it does not modify the original table. The original table remains as it is. Okay, so this table that is displayed is just a copy from the original table. Okay, so the select keyword does not make changes to the, even if you have a where condition, it does not make changes to the original table. Okay, so once this data is displayed, okay, so this data is once this data is displayed, okay, the original data is not modified at all. Okay, so now here, as per the question, to display the teacher name and salary. So it's very important for you to understand the query question, okay, because in this query question only, how you write down the query, okay, is determined. So you have to understand very nicely. Here it is mentioned to display teacher name and salary. Okay, so teacher name and salary, that means you have a teacher table, and in the teachers table there are lists of columns. Okay, so one such column is the teacher name and the salary column. Okay, so now you have to display only the teacher name column and the salary column, not the other columns. Okay, so for all the teachers, that means for all the teachers, so in that column, in this teacher name column and salary column, okay, you have to display all the teachers name and their salary. Okay, but there is a condition: whose salary is greater than or equal to 20,000. So it might be greater than 20,000 or equal to 20,000. Okay, so based on that, you have the query select t name comma salary, because in the query question it is first written name and salary, and though it is written here name and salary, but here the column name is t name, because while you're creating the table, you have mentioned the column name as t name and the column name as salary. So that's why here, separated by commas, select t name comma salary from teacher, okay, where salary is greater than or equal to 20,000. So now what it will do is that it will go through the table, okay, and then the compiler will, based on this condition, it will display only those teachers whose salary is more than or equal to 20,000. Okay, so it will not display the rest of the tables or the table columns. Okay, so if suppose it was written, write a query to display, okay, to display all the teachers details. Okay, so in that case it will be select star from teacher. Okay, not select t name salary, but it will be select star from teacher. So in that case it will display all the columns that are there in the teachers table, and all the datas, but only selected data, that is salary should be greater than equal to 20,000. Okay, so this is how you use a comparison operator. Okay, so similarly you have logical operators, that is boolean or logical operators. So same like in C++. Okay, the the execution of this and or, okay, and or you have the symbol also, okay, ampersand, this vertical lines, okay. So and or not, the execution of that is same. Okay, so now you have a query question. Write a query to display the teacher number and teacher name of the teacher whose department number is D03 and salary more than 15,000. So now, since you are using logical operators, right? In so logical operators, uh, it compares two conditions. Okay, so just like you remember that logical operators, two variables are compared, right? So here also it compares two columns with the data values. Okay, so that's why here you have to display the teacher number and the teacher name from the teachers table. The condition is whose department number is D03. That means whose department number, this is not a table, okay, this is the column name. So in the teachers table there is, there is a column called as department number, okay, and from that department number you have to search for this data value D03, and also from the salary column you have to search for values more than 15,000. Okay, so based on this query question you can understand what type of keywords or what type of operators you will use. Okay, so here since you have whose department number is D03 and salary more than 15,000, so you have two conditions. Give the first condition, the first column and the value, the second column and the value, right? So you have to write down the query in one line based on these two conditions. So since it is boolean, that means true or false. Okay, so now we have to use the logical operators, that is and. Okay, because here based on this whose department number is D03, so it should be from the department number the data should be D03 and only D03, not D02, not D01, and also from the salary column it should be more than 15,000, not less than 15,000. So both should be true. So in that case, since both should be true, so we use the logical and operator. Okay, because when we use the logical and operator, both the test conditions should be on the left hand side and on the right hand side of the logical and operator, it should hold true. If even if one is false, the query is not executed, right? The query, you will not get the correct query. So output, so here select t number, t name, salary. Okay, here the salary is not mentioned here. Okay, here the salary is not mentioned here, but it is written here in this query. Okay, so actually it should be select t number comma t name from teacher. Okay, where, so you can see that now you're using the parenthesis because this where clause will be comparing these two conditions. Okay, so you have to use the parenthesis here, brackets, because this where clause will test on this, and then this where clause will test on this. Okay, this is same like when you're using the logical operator in C++, you use the if, right? You use the if, and then the two conditions you separated by brackets, right? So here also the where clause will test on these two conditions to check whether these are true or false. Okay, so if from the department number there is a department D03, and from the salary column there is the salary more than 15,000. Okay, then if both the conditions are true, then it will display the teacher number, teacher name and salary. Okay, so like this it will display. So as you can see that it displays salary more than 15,000. Okay, and it should be from department number D03. So both these Ramesh Kumar and Reena Mitha, they are from department number D03 and their salary is more than 15,000. So since here it is to set to display teacher number, T name and salary, so you are displaying T name, T number, T name and salary column. Okay, and so it is only these three columns along with these data are displayed, because based on the condition that the department number should be D03 and the salary should be more than 15,000. Okay, so here you can see that this in the where clause condition, okay, this department number column is not displayed. Why? Because this is only in the where test condition. Okay, if you want to display the department number, if you want to display this department number as well in the table, okay, then in that case you have to mention that department number dbt underscore number here before using the from clause. Okay, so the select keyword will display all these columns. Okay, so this is used to display the columns or all the columns. So if you write here select T number, T name, salary, comma, DEPT number from teacher, then in that case department number will also be displayed. So here it will be DEPT number and then below it will be D03, D03. Okay, so I hope you got it. So similarly you can also use the logical OR operator. Okay, so just like C++, the logical OR operator, what it does is that any of these conditions can be true. It may be this may be true, it may be this may be true. Okay, one thing you have to notice here is, okay, you can use the symbols and or this ampersand. Okay, now another thing is that, like I said, while you are associating the column with the data values, okay, you can notice that for the salary numbers, okay, the data value as numbers, no semicolon, no single quote is in added here. But for the department number, since D03 you have characters and numbers, okay, so in that case D03 is enclosed in single quote because this is a variable character or character data values. Okay, so another thing you have to notice is, okay, here the D is in capital. That means the while creating the table and while inserting the values, D should also be inserted as capital. If you change this D03 D to small letter, okay, while searching for this query, okay, then the compiler will not find this department number D in small letter 03 because while you're inserting the data, D03 was in capital letter, D was in capital letter. Okay, so that's why it will display error. Okay, so similarly in the logical OR operators also you can see that Rakesh Sharma is in single quote code. Okay, so it will search for either Rakesh Sharma or Jugal Mittal, and if both are there it will display both. If one is there it will display one. Okay, so anyone. So here Rakesh Sharma is case sensitive. Okay, so while you are inserting the data, if R and S is in capital letter, while you are searching for Rakesh Sharma using this query, you should also write down R and S in capital letter or uppercase. Okay, so similarly you have the not. Okay, the logical not operator. So the logical not operator is the exact opposite of the other operators. Okay, so what it does is here write a query to display the teacher information whose salary is not more than 15,000. So now here you have to display the teacher information whose salary is less than 15,000. Okay, so from the question itself you can understand that you have to use the not operator whose salary is not more than 15,000, right? Okay, so so you can see that here select star from, because it says to display the teacher information, no column names are mentioned, right? To display the teacher column, teacher name, teacher number, nothing is mentioned here, so that's why it is select star from teacher. So it will display all the columns, okay, and the row wise data. So now from teacher where, and you can see that this is enclosed in parentheses. Okay, so for the not operator, when you're using the not operator, you have to enclose the condition in parentheses. But if you observe here in the previous here, so where salary greater than equal to 20,000, you can see that it is not enclosed in parentheses. Yes, it is optional. In some cases you can enclose it in parentheses also, it is okay. Okay, it will not display any error. In the case of the not operator, you can see that it is enclosed in parentheses. Okay, so to differentiate between the operators and the columns. Okay, so here where not salary greater than 15,000. Okay, so it will search for from the table the salary should be less than 15,000. Okay, so if you read opposite like this, select star from teacher where salary greater than 15,000, that means salary is greater than 15,000. So if you write down not, that means salary is less than 15,000. Okay, so similarly here you can use the not operator with the or, that means you can use multiple logical operators also. Okay, so here you can see in this query you are using the not operator with the or operator. Okay, so based on this question, query to display the information except Rakesh Sharma. So you should not display Rakesh Sharma. Okay, but in the query question, of course, it is mentioned as Rakesh Sharma and Jukal Mittal also. Okay, so you should not display Rakesh Sharma also and Jukal Mittal also. Okay, so select T number, T name from teacher. Okay, so this query question is actually wrong. Okay, because here the query is asking to display all the information. Okay, but in here it is, so there are some typing mistakes in the textbook. Okay, so you have to be careful. So here is written select T number, T name. Okay, now in the query question it should be written write the query to display the teacher number, teacher name. Okay, uh, of all the information, okay, from the teachers table except Rakesh Sharma or Jukal Mittal. It should be written like that. Okay, so where not T name equals to Rakesh Sharma or T name equals to Jukal Mittal. Again, you'll observe that the parenthesis is not used. Okay, so here also you have to use the parenthesis because the where clause will evaluate on the two columns, that is T name Rakesh Sharma or T name Jukal Mittal. Okay, now here again you are seeing that what the difference is that here you are extracting the where clause condition, both the conditions from the same column, that is T name, but the data is different, that is one is Rakesh Sharma and the other one is Jukal Mittal. Okay, so when you're comparing the boolean true or false from the same column, you should mention the column name twice or thrice as per with the data, because the columns and the data are different. Okay, so using special operators like in the tutorial links also I've displayed as I've told you to go through. Okay, in between like distinct is null. Okay, so is null, so is null is used. Okay, is null is used uh, suppose like when the value is missing. Okay, or you can say like it's blank. Okay, so how is this null value created in the table? It is done in two ways. Here it is not mentioned here. Okay, but I'll just in short I'll just explain. Okay, how this null value comes in the table. Okay, so if you see in this table, so this is the teachers table. So you can see in the teachers table under the salary column, two teachers salary is blank. Okay, is empty, so that is actually null. Okay, it is empty, so it may be missing or this is empty. Okay, so this is blank. So how is this created? So this is actually created when after you create the table, when you are inserting the data values. Okay, when you're inserting the data row by row wise. Okay, so when the data is inserted for this row Dinesh Goel. Okay, so this value is was not inserted. Okay, so it can be done, inserting the null value can be done in two ways, implicitly or explicitly. Okay, when you do it explicitly, you have to mention in the insert command. Okay, in the insert command the word null. Okay, but in this case this is a implicit declaration. Okay, so here when you're inserting that into the teachers table, okay, so the column name is mentioned here, T T number, T name, address, department number, date of joining. Okay, so as you can see here, this is the salary. Okay, so here salary is not mentioned here. Okay, so you can see T number, T name, T address, department number. Okay, so in between the T address and department number, the salary column is not there. So this is implicitly this is implicit insertion. Okay, so here in the values also the salary is not inserted here. Okay, so the compiler will not display any error, but the compiler will not uh, insert any value here. It will not insert any garbage value here, so this will remain blank. Okay, so that is implicit. Now if you have to do it explicitly, okay, so you have to write down here, suppose like after this address, in here within the single quote you have to write here the word null. Okay, so that is explicit declaration. Okay, so this way null values can be inserted into the data table. Okay, so in the next you have is, okay, so this displays, as you can see here, the salary column is missing here. Okay, so when you use the null values. Okay, now next you have is the distinct clause. Now distinct clause also it's been explained. Okay, distinct, the keyword distinct is used, okay, to remove the duplicate data from the column. Okay, so here the syntax, select distinct column name from table. Okay, so what it will do is that from that column, whichever you are extracting, okay, the data, it will remove the duplicate data and then display only single data of that. Okay, so here write a query to display distinct department number. So department number from teachers table. Okay, so in the teachers table the department number is duplicated many times. Actually there is only suppose like 5 departments. Okay, but all the 5 departments are duplicated again and again because the teachers are working in the same departments. 2 3 teachers are working in the same department. So if you want to display only those departments, how many departments are there, you use the distinct keyword. Okay, so when you mention like this, select distinct department number, so this is the column name. Okay, select distinct department number from teacher. Okay, so like you said, the keyword distinct is used here because the select keyword will display the department number and it should be distinct values. So that's why it is written in between this department number and distinct. Okay, not select department number distinct. Okay, so select distinct department number from teacher and then it will display. Of course it can also be written like that. Okay, in some uh, softwares. Okay, so as you can see that it displays the distinct value only. Okay, so that will be all for today. Okay, in the next class we'll discuss about the all clause, we'll discuss about the between, okay, in clause, the like operators. Okay, so as much as possible you practice these queries, okay, in your system, and then the more you practice the more you understand. Okay, this is important for you in the future also.